You're listening to
Wrestling to the Max.
Alert. Clear wrong channels.
This is an exclusive.
How you like that?
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Hello and welcome to Wrestling Max Extra. What we have promised you from the previous show yesterday. With me today, Mr. Paul Leeser.
Heyo.
And our usual New Japan man, Tom Reese. How you doing?
Pretty good, guys. Pretty good.
Well, yeah, that buzzer means that we have gotten to the end of the New Japan Best of Super Juniors 23 tournament. And we have a winner. It's Mr. Will Ospreay. I had picked him as a winner. You had picked O'Reilly, Paul. Tom, did you? I think you might have had the same final as me, as Bushi and Ospreay.
Actually, in the beginning, I picked Bushi.
Oh, you picked Bushi. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not to say that, I mean, everything else in my tournament thing, my pick'em, pretty much all of our pick'ems was probably thrown in the garbage by the time we got to, like, what was it, like, day 5 or 6 or whatever. But before, I guess, we get to running down this card and all that stuff, what did you guys think of the tournament in general?
Gosh. Yes, supremely good. I don't think there was a night that I have watched, because I haven't watched all of them, but I've probably watched a good 2/3 of them, and I can't think of a bad show really among the batch.
I'll tell you what, honestly, there wasn't a bad show. The worst match of the tournament was, to me, Tiger Mask and Chase Owens. And even that wasn't that bad. So if you figure everything was outside of that match was at least 3 stars every single tournament match, this was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I was seeing, was mostly everything was at least 3. You might get to 2 3/4 or whatever a couple times, but, you know, that means everything is good, at least. And so it's worth your time watching. Now, obviously, if you don't got all the time to watch that, you're going to go for the higher ones. But, I mean, just, I think definitely better than last year. And, you know, you put I don't know where you rank the 2 finals, but they're pretty damn close as far as last year and this year when you talk about the final match. But I guess we should start from the beginning here with another Jay White and David Finlay Jr. Confrontation. The 9th time in this big series they've been going at it. Finlay's only won once. He did not win here. He lost again to Jay. But Finlay showed some fire, definitely, in this one.
Yeah, I mean, he may not have won, but when I think you look at the match, and he only got beat by a quick roll-up, really after he thought he put him away. So I think it works both to what Finlay's been doing throughout the entire tournament, which has been endlessly oppressive and just coming up a little short, and Jay White, who is super duper overly cocky, and it's wonderful, and it gets the best of David here where he thought he had him, and Jay just, he wasn't down yet.
This was like Finlay's coming out party, I guess you want to say, because he was just, outstanding in a tournament, and I really thought that he would get the win here today. But I guess he's still the younger of the young lions, I guess. And the other thing is, the small package. There's been a lot of them lately in New Japan when you never really saw that before.
I did like the way they built this with Finley just uppercutting Jay to death, and then as soon as he thinks he has him, bam.
And you said it's, what, the 9th time they wrestled now?
Yeah, just in this series where Jay's been beating him constantly.
And you know what? Yeah, they're all different. Like today was like super intense. Like you said with the uppercuts, the forearm stuff. A couple of them been like, just mat wrestling, chain wrestling. There's no two matches that were like. So that's why even though it's the 9th time, I still enjoy it every time because they're out there giving something a little different. And he didn't have the Boston Crab finish this time, so that was also good.
I mean, do you think that now we're finally getting to that point, once you get past Dominion, I guess, and when do we think that they're gonna both? We don't even know where Finley's going, but it's like we felt like we've known forever that Jay's supposed to go to ROH, and they keep holding him there.
Yeah, I don't know when he goes or when he goes or all that good stuff, but I'm looking forward to it greatly. I think he'll do great in ROH, and then where you send David Finley, maybe you send him back to England and let him work. There's a lot of great guys he can work with over there.
That's what I was gonna think. Rev Pro would be like perfect for him over there. What do you think?
Yeah, but they run a full schedule over there, or
I think monthlies.
Yeah,
I think they run other little shows or whatever, but
kind of like Ring of Honor does.
I don't think as often as Ring of Honor, but I think they run a couple aside from the big one.
Well, if you had to go over there, you could do Rev Pro, and then there's other places also like Progress and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. He just tour the whole country. He doesn't have to stick to just Rev Pro,
Yeah, true. We move on to probably the worst match on this show, starring at least two guys that are, where they're at, and two other ones that aren't faring too much better. Bullet Club's version of Yujiro and Chase Owens taking on the Bullet Club Hunters of Yoshitatsu and Captain New Japan. Man, doesn't say much for Yoshitatsu. You're already down there with the Captain New Japans of the world. I don't know. Other than Yujiro actually getting the pinfall in a match, I don't know. It's whatever.
Only because somebody had to win.
This feels like forever since we've seen the Miami Shine.
Yeah, the match was short. It wasn't that bad. Still the worst match on the show, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Probably because it was short.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I think you could consider it bad is just because you have no interest in really any of these guys. Chase is here for his cup of coffee. Takahashi's going nowhere. New Japan, and you know where he's at. And Yoshitatsu is stuck on a Bullet Hunter thing, and they don't really have a lot of focus on the Bullet Club right now, so it sort of makes him feel like a background player.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, Bullet Club's felt like a background the entire thing since, Los Ingobernables became what they are now. And it's just, if it wasn't for that ROH angle, you'd really feel like they were in that state where you're kind of just you're treading water at that point with them. But, I mean, we'll see when we get, Adam Cole here, and who, I guess he announced that he is going to be heavyweight in New Japan. So, we'll wait to see some pretty great matchups with Adam Cole.
Yeah, but I still think Bullet Club now is a distant third, behind Chaos and LIJ.
Oh, for sure. I think it's just, in America, it's kind of always been almost bigger than
I was just going to say, it's actually bigger here now than it is there.
So it kind of makes sense why I guess Ring of Honor is sort of taking the banner and saying, okay, let's see what we can do with it. But, with some of their main players on the shelf, too, in the Bucks, this is going to be interesting. Of course, ROH is behind on the, they don't, their TV is always a step behind. So, maybe they're okay by the time they got a tape again. But moving on from that, we got Mr. Katsuri Shibata and Juice Robinson taking on Yuji Nagata and Manabu Nakanishi. This was good. I laughed at Juice trying to do elbows with Nakanishi. And then, Nagata and Shibata doing their thing, of course.
You got to give it to the tree here. He did a crossbody off the top rope. Didn't think he had it in him.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Gotta always give it. He'll do that sometimes. He'll do that just over the rope plancha too, just to scare everybody.
Especially if you're the guy that's got to catch him.
Yeah. Are you pumped for this Nagata Shibata rematch here?
More so than the first one. The tag matches on this tour, on a live show that they had, actually been a highlight. The tag matches these two have been in because I think they've done a better job this time around building it than they did the first time. And the first time they did great. And this time it's like even more, I don't know, maybe because there's more intensity with Shibata now chasing instead of defending.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They've done a really nice job of turning the feud on its head a little bit by giving the title to Nagata, because Shibata was more about trying to prove himself, and now he's got a fire to prove himself as opposed to just being the champion guy. So, I think this works really well. I think they're going to put on one heck of a match too, even better than their first one.
Well, they may very well have the best match on the show.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot with all the matches that they've got lined up for that show already. So,
that's the fun part with the never openweight title matches. People never expect them to be as good as they are, and then they come in and just blow you out of the water. So, don't sail the boat on them yet,
Oh, for sure. The interesting thing will be who they have come out of there with it. Because you got to think that, obviously, I know the focus is on the G1 now after this, so the titles kind of become sort of nothing for the next period, but you have to imagine at some point you would move, unless you want to tell the story for a while with Nagata, like you move Shibata up to facing Omega or something.
Maybe Elgin.
You could, whatever the result is, whether Nagata or Shibata wins, you can put them in the same block in G1, and then the other guy goes over, so you're still kind of tit for tat, and you get a little mileage out of it in September and October, maybe.
That's possible. Yeah, that's true. If Shibata wins again, he could have a big thing with Elgin, or have I would assume that they had a plan for Omega even with Tanahashi being there or not, but who knows, with that. But we'll get to that in a little bit here. After this, they had Hiroshi Tenzan, who he's had to switch roles because Tanahashi's injuries forced Kojima to take Tanahashi's spot. And Red Dragon taking on Tomohiro Ishii and Roppongi Vice. This was good. You had the comedy stuff, and Fish is doing his normal, being really good here, and just didn't think this was like overly special, but still good stuff here.
Yeah, but that spot where Tenzan was over next to Romero, and Romero started doing the Tenzan chops. to no avail, and you knew it was coming. And as soon as Tenzan nailed Romero with a Tenzan chop, Romero just like looked like a shot out of a cannon wheel.
And the Beretta comes up right behind to do the headbutt, and then
Yeah.
that does nothing, obviously. So Tenzin murders him with one. It's amazing.
That's one of the great things Tenzan can still do. You do his chops, you have made a grand mistake. He will get you for it. So, you know, after I think things got really fun after this last match. Like the last half of the show after the intermission was just on fire after this. And it starts with this ridiculously fun, basically trios match going on here with Kushida, Ricochet, and Seidel taking on Liger, Tiger, and Volador. And you know it's great when you have Liger and Tiger doing planches to the outside. Like when they're getting into it, you know this one's going to be fun. And just, man, everything you want in one of these things.
Mm. Yeah, just incredible stuff here. Fast paced and fun right to the end. Ricochet and Valdor putting on another show. This was all kinds of fun, and it's matches like this that really make trios wrestling so much fun. Just over the top, crazy dives, great stuff like this. Good match here.
It's what's great about New Japan. It's like, the previous 6-man, you had Romero and Beretta doing the comedy, stuff like that, and, making Tenzan seem interesting. And then you get to this match, and especially, I don't know, the last 5 minutes or so, where they just pulled out everything. Kushida did the flip off the top turnbuckle on everybody, and did Ricochet go over the top also? Over the railing, over the guardrail like he usually does? To flip over the turnbuckle?
I don't think so, because the guardrails were a little farther back.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was the other day. One of these days, he did it where he looked like he overshot everybody, and it looked kind of dangerous, but I don't remember if it was today or 2 days ago or...
No, he just did the stuff in the ring with Volador in this one, and then he did the 630 to win, which is still amazing that he does that, and then he gets right on his feet doing it. I mean, just that's insane. And Volador doing the flip off the top rope after he gets pushed over by Ricochet was pretty cool too. This was just like a total. Doesn't last very long, but you totally got everything you wanted in here in the time that they gave you.
It was all action from the get-go, and like I said, the last few minutes were just insane. I thought just everybody pulling out their stuff, and yeah. I really hope they bring Volador back.
I would be completely okay with him getting a 1-year deal like Dorada did this last year, but I don't know if that's going to happen just because Volador is so much further up in the pecking order on CMLL shows.
Oh, he's a main eventer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they can go without him for that long, but this it would be fun to see him more often than just during this whole tournament. But hey, if this is the only time we see him, he definitely gave you a terrific tournament, and then capped it off with this match. Speaking of insane, was how much Kenny Omega just crashed and burned in this match with Satoshi Kojima and Elgin, and him and Fale. And this was what it was meant to be. Was basically, oh, you're going to tell me that I haven't done anything to deserve this title shot? Well, here you go. I'm going to demolish you and not look back at all. The ladder spots were really well done. I thought the crowd bit for him really well. Good God, the way the ladder folded when he hits that powerbomb is insane. And just all the fun stuff with the trash can lid and Kojima, and then he hits Fale You know, just plus you got Darth Maul in there too. You know, can't go wrong with.
It slayed me. Turning two mops into a double blade lightsaber. Hats off to you, Kenny Omega. But the crowd ate up the ladder spots. I think that's a good sign. So if you had any doubts that the live crowd was going to be not so into a ladder match, I think they just proved you wrong. And I'm also okay with Elgin and Kojima maybe being a tag team in the future if that ever happens. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
I
totally
like-
agree on that.
I just love when Omega would he didn't drop the trash can lid when Kojima would chop it. I'm like, he gonna hold that lid up and Kojima gonna chop the lid. That was pretty funny. It's definitely a ladder match at Dominion then?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I didn't get okay. It's gonna be interesting.
I think that was the point that he was trying to prove that. Okay, well you're beating me with the ladder, and this is my match, and now I have to prove to you that I'm the better man or whatever. Just now both of them have. I like the promo by Omega did a lot to not only make Elgin look strong. Obviously, the live crowd's not understanding what he's saying, but and also giving you a motivation for him too. So I liked all that, and this was sort of more of an angle for that, but it was well done in the end.
Mm-hmm.
After this, you have the semi-main event, which is apparently, I haven't watched all of these, but apparently every time these guys go out there and have one of these multi-man tags, it has been fantastic. And this one is right along with it here with Okada, Goto, Yoshihashi, and Geto taking on Los Ingobernables de Japón. The cool thing here is that almost everybody has some kind of feud going on with each other. So every time there's a combination put in, you care about what's happening. You legit want to, you're rooting for one or the other because they really want to kill each other. And it works so well with the way that they've done this entire feud with all these guys. The teases with Geto and Bushi and Yoshihashi and Sanada and Okada, Naito and Goto and Evil, just all well done here. Great multi-man tag, I thought, and terrific way to get you into that main event before you get there.
This was incredible. Chaos and Los Ingobernables have they've been killing it in these matches. They've been having a killer feud, I think. Something about these two factions just seems to elevate it. Like, the crowd cared about Yoshihashi, the crowd cared about Goto, the crowd cared about Geto. Those are the guys that really haven't gotten a ton of spotlight in New Japan for the last, little while. Or I shouldn't say that about Goto. It's just people are finally starting to care about the spotlight that he's in, and Geto's only around for this time of year, and Yoshihashi is Yoshihashi, but people are starting to get behind him, which is really incredible. And then you have your rising stars over on the other side with Naito, Sanada, Evil, and Bushi really staking claims to spots here on the roster, and these guys just go out there and earn it every single time. And I just sign me up for these matches forever.
This definitely feud of the year, hand down.
Mm-hmm.
This really been, outside of junior matches, these matches on this tour have all been, like you said, excellent to great. And I was thinking, I was watching today, I think Chaos might have only won once or twice, and I could be wrong on that, and Bushi got the win today, but I think Sanada has gotten the majority of the wins, so it seems like they're really building him up now, using this tour to establish him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not, because Naito and Okada will be doing their thing at Dominion, so they just use this time to build up Sanada, and I think it's been really well done.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is, when you had the Yoshihashi and Sanada face off, the crowd got really into it, and they have become like masters of countering each other. It's like, who would have thought you're gonna be interested in a Yoshihashi feud? I know, like in 2016, before this year started. Look at where he started at Wrestle Kingdom and look at where he's at now. He's had a terrific freaking year, and Sonata's been he was kind of, you go, oh, he's gonna be this just another guy in Los Ingobernables, and then he comes out there, has that match with Okada, and he stands out. So all these guys, just Los Ingobernables right now. Like, I mean, I think all of them have shown that they can do it in the singles, they can do it in the tags, they can do it in these multi-mans. Just, man, you name me a better stable right now. I don't know that there is one.
And they get great reactions every time their music hits for the ring entrances. And, yeah, you're right. There's not a better stable right now.
I mean, and Naito, I mean, at first when he had that gimmick, it was sort of almost annoying. And now it's almost like this big deal. Like when he comes out and you're excited to see him, and the crowd's pumped for it and everything. And even when you had the Okada Naito face-off at the end there, it started with Okada chants, but then you kind of got the dual chants again for the two. So, man, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue the fact that Los Ingobernables might be the hottest thing in wrestling right now, except for the guy you have win the main event. I don't think there are two hotter properties in wrestling right now, and they're both in New Japan, which is, I think, just speaks to where those guys are at right now.
Yeah, I mean, we should go ahead and get to that main event because, as I mentioned, I mean, last year's final was fantastic. And it's one of those that, it was a match of the year candidate and everything else. And they had done such a wonderful job in this entire tournament of, before this thing started, even though we should have known better, we know what Taguchi does when he gets to this tournament. It's like his time to shine most of the time, but they went all the way with him this time, and they really made you feel for him. And got you behind him, and he got a lot of people. I mean, at least, we're only seeing the west side of it, but I don't think I ever saw so many people be like, man, I'm rooting for Taguchi today. I want him to win. Even though, we know how great of an athlete and great of a wrestler that Ospreay is, and you kind of want him to win too, but it was a great setup for this match. Ospreay had the big thing of wanting to be the first British-born Super Junior winner and everything else, and he's been all about that. And just two guys that basically just wanted to win, and you got that throughout this entire match. The work on the leg was awesome, and I don't know. I mean, just freaking excellent match here between these two.
This guy, he's the first time we saw Taguchi in a tournament, he came out with an inflatable Big Bird on his head. And then he went out and had that great match with Saito, and he's one of the stars of this tournament, hands down. I mean, he was just incredible. But even still, it's like, when it all came down, he said, Taguchi's in the finals. You still say to yourself, he's in the finals. But that match today,
and that crowd, I mean, you almost had the whole country behind Taguchi.
That crowd, yeah. I'll tell you, that crowd was awesome today for the whole show, especially the main event. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, there are no words really. These guys went out there and absolutely killed it. Ospreay does an old throwback to the great Sasuke with the round off dive to the outside, which was absolutely incredible. Taguchi playing the grizzled veteran in this, and I don't think he's even that old. But when you compare him to Ospreay, who's only 23, he's probably miles older. And they just killed it. They straight up killed it. The crowd was into this. Ospreay absolutely slays him with that springboard cutter. because it looks like Taguchi just straight up went for it and died to make sure Ospreay looked awesome at the end. So, just hats off to both guys. This is an absolutely incredible match.
Yeah,
And-
the near falls were insane in this thing like that. I thought he had him with that imploding 450, and then he kicks out, and Taguchi just the so many different times with that ankle lock that he had Ospreay, and he'd worked on the legs so well that like you could believe it, but then he stood up one too many times and it got him. It's just so good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, before the tournament started, the knock on Ospreay by the keyboard warriors, so to speak, was, oh, he can't sell, he doesn't sell. Like, what's that match today? He sold the ankle the whole match.
Mm-hmm.
And even, like, when he got on the top rope, he was, like, wobbling a little bit, making sure he had his feet under him. I mean, never forgot, you got to sell the ankle, and they worked the whole match. Kind of like his match with Kushida, where he sold the arm the whole match, He's sitting there with a veteran and knows what he's doing. This match was just some kind of great.
Yeah, and then at the end, you have he basically challenges Kushida, tells Kushida, hey, we're not done here yet. One more time. Never explicitly says Dominion, but we know what they mean here. Kushida accepts the challenge, and it's set. As far as what your big junior title match is. You have an inclination of where they go. Do you think they have Kushida lose here, or do they tell him? I mean, he's signed for 2 years. You can tell a huge, huge story here if you have Kushida win again and have him win later.
Or Ospreay wins now, and you have the tailor-made rematch with Kushida, and you still have the Chaos LIJ feud where he can feud with Bushi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't... There's two ways. You either go about this, Kushida retains here, you do him one more time at the Dome, and Ospreay goes over there, or you do it here and let Kushida get it back again at the Dome like he did this last year. I think you win either way in either situation. But I think they did a lot of setup for Kushida title defenses throughout this tournament, so I don't know so much if you take the belt off Kushida, just because him and Bushi, I think, is a great feud that you can have right now, and you can do whatever with Ospreay in the meantime,
Yeah, that's very true. The only thing I will say is that I know I brought this up a couple of times, but Kushida was vocal about he wants to be in the G1. And at that point, do you take the belt off of Kushida, let him focus on being in the G1, you give it to Ospreay, and then after Kushida does that, then he comes back for his title or whatever,
I would hold off a year if it was me.
Yeah, I mean...
He's too hot right now as a junior ace.
Well, that's what he wanted. He wanted to do it as representing the juniors.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing saying he can't represent the G1 as the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Didn't Devitt do it that way?
Devitt's done it. I think Koda's done it that way too.
Yeah,
that might be a mistake.
Yeah, but when they did it, the junior division wasn't really,
Yeah, it wasn't hot.
like it is now, so...
Yeah, but I mean, they're only just on the upswing, I think, and they're only starting to sort out the singles division. But I mean, you had like Kyle O'Reilly saying he wasn't going to participate in Best of the Super Juniors next year because he wants to move up to heavyweight. And then you have the junior tag match for Dominion also made on this show.
Yeah,
so
forgot to mention that.
I
Three-way again.
Yeah, three-way again. I don't know if you move Kushida up just because there's no stability in the division right now except for Kushida.
Right. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you move him because he participated in that. It may just be this, you do it as a one-off, you show that he can, and then you have maybe a bigger moment, kind of like with Omega, where you have him go back into the junior division, and then you maybe at next year's Wrestle Kingdom, that's when you have him move. There's a lot of stuff they can do with that. I mean, obviously we'll find out in about a couple weeks, who the participants are. That's usually when they tell us who the final 20 or 19 or 21 or however many they're going to have this year are going to be. We'd imagine, Tanahashi is kind of on that brink, and I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it's based off of last year. Tenton looked like he couldn't move by the time he got done with that. I'd imagine that they're not going to have him do it again. And there's a couple guys that are missing, or just from, the guys that were missing from that were there last year that aren't going to be there this year. So we'll have to see what they decide to do with pushing the spot. But I mean, do you guys think this is a one-off with the 3-ways, or do you think we are back in that circle again for the junior tags?
They have no teams. These are your 3 teams in that division. So unless they start making teams or signing some more guys or something, there's nothing more you can do with the division right now than what they've already done.
There's nothing much. Yeah, you can't do anything else with the tag belts than they've already done. I mean, what I would do is move Red Dragon to the heavyweights.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still have to make another team, but I think you just get rid of the tag belts. The junior tag belts, that is.
I think that makes a lot of sense, personally. There's not a lot of teams around anymore. A lot of the guys you could have made teams with were young lions, and they're all going out on excursions right now. There's nothing more you can do with them than what you got now. So maybe you put them on hiatus or something, because we don't even know how long Ricochet is going to be sticking around, So I mean, there's.
And then if you really want to have junior matches, then maybe you could have moved a never 6-man kind of in that direction. Have like 2 juniors and a heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Or 1 team, and to give them something to do.
I also didn't like the. I get it that all 3 are Gaijin teams, and it sort of works, but I did not like the we're going to use the rematch clause thing. I thought New Japan was a little bit above that, but
I know a whole bunch of them had wins over each other across the Super Junior tournament as well.
I know. I was like, oh man, come on! Don't tell me we're gonna. Oh, yes, we are. We're gonna bring out the contract and say we got a rematch. Oh, come on now. But at least the card is pretty much, other than like some of your undercard stuff here and there. Everything, all the big matches are set. What are you most looking forward to for the Dominion show?
Is yes a viable answer?
Everything?
Yeah.
Right now, for me, it's Kushida and Ospreay, and Nagata and Shibata.
I really dug Okada and Naito at Invasion Attack. I'm looking forward to seeing them take the next step there. Omega and Elgin in the ladder match is not going to be disappointing at all. I think that's going to really be a home run for them. We said earlier, Nagata and Shibata could be that sneaky match of the show that nobody sees coming. And then Kushida Ospreay was incredible at Invasion Attack. I'm sure they're only going to top themselves. And then the 3-way junior tag match, I mean, yeah, it's the same stuff we've seen a lot, but it's still good. I mean, just because it tastes bad, or, it tastes the same, doesn't mean that it tastes bad.
Yeah, I mean, on the same day that we're going to get Money in the Bank, we're going to also get that singles ladder match. There's Omega and Elgin, so we'll get plenty of ladders involved between the 2 shows going on. Tom, how do you feel about Naito breaking the IWGP title because he throws it around too much?
I was really wondering. I'm still trying to figure out, like, what are they going to do at Dominion? They keep the belt on Naito because he's the hot hand right now.
Mm.
And Okada was supposed to be the ace this year. It was supposed to be his time, but, when guys left and all, that kind of changed everything. But much as I like Okada, I don't want to see Naito win that match.
I feel like we're destined to see them again with Okada winning the G1.
Yeah.
I hate it when you kind of already know what they're going to do with the G1, but I mean, I guess they could spring that big surprise and make everybody think it's going to be Okada and it's not, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason to move the belt off Naito. He's super hot right now. The whole faction is super hot right now. Okada is great chasing the title too. He's just as great a champion as he is chasing. And there's so many other top guys in Chaos that you can have challenge Naito throughout the year to keep those matches fresh. So I don't think you lose anything by having Naito retain the championship going into G1.
Yeah, and the other thing is, he retains, and then you're going to have Okada win a G1, even though it's predictable. Being predictable isn't bad. We saw that last year.
We kind of, yeah. Well, no, last year, though, they really had us, thinking that whole time with Nakamura, and then they didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, but at the same time, we also kind of had in the back of our head that they're going to go and complete the story with Tanahashi and Okada at the Dome.
Right.
So you could have Naito win and then have Okada win, and that's your Gato will finally get that match at the main event of Tokyo Dome. So, come hell or high water, he's going to make it happen sooner or later.
Well, it kind of deserves it now with all the reaction Naito's getting. So, I mean, the good thing with Naito too is that he always talks a big game after the shows, and whoever they have beat him in the G1, it's going to mean a lot because he'll do so much for whoever it is that beats him. So, I don't necessarily have a problem. I think it's so much better than having, Okada's the champion again, and we're going to go through the same kind of thing you did last year. I think it gives the G1 a much different flavor if you have Naito going in as your champion than the other way around,
Yeah, and think about this. Last year in the G1, you had Kota Ibushi, Nakamura, Styles, even, the second-tier guys like Carl Anderson. And, boy,
no Gallows either.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots to fill here.
Yeah, Yano's over in Noah.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna be the comedy spot for the G1? I guess we'll get all serious matches this year. Of course, I guess they could bring Yano. They could have KES win the rematch or whatever. Is that, and then Yano comes back or whatnot, but. Who knows? Marufuji doesn't look like he's totally enjoying that tag title with Yano, but it is what it is, I guess. So I guess we don't have to put a number on it. Who do you feel are your big top performers that stood out to you when you think back of this whole thing? You go, okay, these are some of the guys that I'm going to remember.
I said it last show. I'm saying it again this show. I really think this tournament was David Finlay's coming out party. He really only had one okay match. The rest were all good to great. Just an absolutely incredible run for him. And I can't be happier for him because the dude really came out there and proved that he's got what it takes. And, obviously, your champion, Kushida, was wonderful throughout the whole tournament. The winner, Will Ospreay, had 2 Match of the Year candidates throughout this dang thing. Taguchi, super surprising. Kyle O'Reilly, I think, was equally as impressive. Him and Kushida had a match that absolutely tore the house down. And he had other good matches with a lot of other people, too. So, tip of the caps to all those guys.
What do you think, Tom?
I tipped the cap to all 14 guys. I mean, before I pick my standout performer, but even guys like Tiger Mask and Chase Owens had really good matches, and then you go to like Bobby Fish had good match with Volador and stuff like that. But I agree with the Finley. If I had to pick a top five, I was gonna put Finley as my number five guy because he just had a coming out party. And one other guy I put there right with him is Gato.
Hmm.
Gato was just so entertaining this entire tournament. I mean, he almost took over the comedy spot for Taguchi in the tournaments, and Taguchi had to be kind of serious, I guess. But like that match that he had with Romero at Korakuen wasn't a match of the year, but that match was awesome. Where he laid down and then tried to fool Romero with the package. And Beretta was the constant foil and, getting beat on every which way. And, just that's what made the tournament entertaining. You had your serious stuff, you had your high-flying stuff, and then you had, Gato to throw in the comedy and stuff like that. So, yeah, Finley and Gato were, like, two unsung heroes, I guess you could say, for me.
Yeah, I still go back. Osprey was fantastic here. That match with Ricochet is going to be talked about, I think, still for this entire year. The conversations.
It's going to be famous even years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be talked about again when we get to those matches, when everybody starts talking about match of the years and the whole, oh my god, it's killing wrestling thing and, all that stuff. It was that whole controversy in itself brought so much to this tournament. The thing was even featured on ESPN. I think Ospreay really got to cement himself in this tournament. Liger gave him respect. He did the whole loosening his boots so he could not have so much pressure on his ankle and all that stuff. It just I want to make a point that I think until this tournament started, we bang on Taguchi for doing the comedy and doing all that stuff, and he did it here, but he mixed it in and made it serious, made it a point, doing the Bomaye and doing the Nakamura stuff and whatever. But he was so good here. Maybe we don't see him be that caliber again for the rest of the year, but he gets to prove that, hey, I can still do this, and when I want to, I'm going to go out there and have a kick-ass singles match,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, you know what else it also is with Taguchi? It's like, these were serious matches. It was a tournament. It was for something. Whereas most of the time he's in those opening 6- and 8-man tags where, I guess his job is just to entertain him.
Yeah, that's true also. I'm never going to forget Taguchi having his own peacock costume. I swear, some of the things that we're going to remember sometimes of these years was the dumb thing that Taguchi wore for that match. You can say what you want, but it makes you think about it. It makes you laugh, so it's much better than the bland Eddie Guerrero ripoff that he was previously. So, there's still people that don't like. I've actually, now that Nakamura's in NXT, people like to bag on him a little bit more. Some of the Puro people, and now I feel like I've been hearing all these guys come out of the woodwork that go, oh, I like Nakamura more when he was the MMA Nakamura. And, so it's kind of the same thing with Taguchi. He really changed when he had the character, and I guess people forget how different it was when he wasn't that. So, yeah.
A lot of people weren't even, no, I won't say it. A lot of people that are fans now of New Japan probably weren't watching 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Right.
They don't realize, that Taguchi was bland, or even further back, Nakamura was just he was plain as vanilla. But he adopted a character, he came up with something, the same thing Taguchi did. He found a way to make himself relevant, as part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, that's going to do it for this show. Just going to say thank you to Tom again for joining us.
No problem, my pleasure.
And, he's awesome as always. And hopefully we'll have you back for the Money in the Bank and Dominion double shot again.
How did that wind up on the same day?
I don't
They're trying
know.
to kill us, Tom.
Yeah. And it's also Father's Day. So I don't know what Gary and I and you, Tom, and everybody else going to be doing. But, so, it's just go subscribe. If you enjoyed this show, I should note that I know there's going to be possibly in places that we don't ever get to put the other shows because they include non-Japanese wrestling things. We do have shows now on Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings, basically talking about everything that we possibly can in what's going on in wrestling. Monday we had a huge show talking about Brock and UFC and Muhammad Ali and Kimbo passings and just previewing that NXT and Raw and everything. And then, on the Thursdays we go and talk about the other shows, the TNAs and Lucha Undergrounds and the NXT Weekly show. And we try to cover everything we can. Hence the name of the show itself. So, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. You can also subscribe to the W2M Network, which gets you not just this podcast, but other podcasts that we do that, our partners in crime over there, when we have big pay-per-view shows, they do one as well called Wrestling Unwrapped. Just other stuff that has nothing to do with wrestling. Also, if you're a football fan, a video games person, whatever, just sports in general, it's all there, and it continues to grow. So, get on now, and just whenever a show comes on, it shows up there in your feed, and then you can decide whether you want to listen to it or not. But, we will see you in a couple days to be reviewing that NXT TakeOver The End, which we'll also going to talk about the very interesting conference call that Triple H had today, giving a lot of little secrets for things that might be coming down the line. So we'll get to talk about that, and of course everything else that's been going on in wrestling. So for Paul, for Tom, and for myself, if you're not living life to the max,
Not living life at all.
you know it. Peace.
Later.
See you later. Where is my... There it is.